I would suggest that you don't miss this coming Monday night, because it is now official. Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the WCW champion, is contractually obligated to be in the Georgia Dome this coming Monday night for Nitro to defend the WCW heavyweight title belt against what I feel is the #1 contender, Goldberg!
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! The man's got it! The man's got it!
The sharply dressed commentators on Nitro were very excited tonight, and all they can talk about is JJ's announcement on Thunder. Tony Schiavone reminds fans that Goldberg may be on this winning streak as of late, but he's still going up against the leader of the NWO tonight and one of the greatest world champions of all time. Hollywood Hogan then makes his way to the ring, and the atmosphere in the Georgia Dome tonight is fantastic. It feels like a big pay-per-view, and it's still insane to me that Monday Night Wrestling shows took place in venues like this, you know? So Hogan's now dealing with Diamond Dallas Page, Karl Malone and Bill Goldberg. He says he's got good news and he's got bad news. The good news, we're coming up to Bash at the Beach and Hogan's opponents are going to swim with the fishes. The bad news, tonight's World Championship match is not going to happen. Goldberg's nobody, he's beaten a bunch of jabronis and Goldberg does not deserve a title shot. But Hogan's gonna throw a bone to the 1 or 2 Goldberg fans in attendance tonight. A brother from the Black and White who we haven't seen in a while is gonna fight Billy Boy tonight on Monday Nitro. And if by some miracle Goldberg can beat this dude, then and only then will Hogan put on his wrestling boots and defend the championship. The crowd chanted Goldberg throughout most of the promo and they were loud, very loud. Over on Nitro, Scott Hall gets in the ring. He says, "I'm the shit," and yes, Scott, yes you are. Goldberg's in his hometown tonight though, and the pop Billy Boy gets is nothing short of amazing. The fans want to see Goldberg succeed tonight. Scott toys with Goldberg at the beginning of the match, and this isn't the last time it happens either. Listen to the crowd pop though when Goldberg shoves Scott to the mat.
This is a US title bout.
My. Scott gets in a few shoulder thrusts, he slaps Goldberg around a little, and the crowd again pops when Goldberg takes Scott down. Now, this is the part where I think Goldberg gets a little annoyed with Hall. Listen to these chops. I get the feeling that Goldberg didn't take too kindly to getting hit so hard by the bad guy, because Scott then tries to Irish whip him and Goldberg hangs on, only to throw Scott into the ropes as hard as he can. And when Scott falls on the mat, Goldberg grabs him by the neck and he says something before letting him go. It's almost like Goldberg told Scott he wasn't playing games when Scott was clearly going in there to have fun, maybe at his opponent's expense. The two start slapping each other around and it doesn't look too friendly either. Goldberg hits Scott with a falling power slam and now Bill's looking pretty intense. Scott gets to his feet and he decides to spit on his opponent. Goldberg shoves Scott down to the mat a few more times, but Scott gets a chance to fight back when Goldberg misses a corner charge. Goldberg takes a back suplex, the bad guy lays in a few right hands. Things were going alright for Scott, but then Goldberg performs an armbar takeover and 2 arm drags. And then, on the outside, Scott decides to call in the troops. He's had enough. Vince and Kurt Hennig and the Disciple walk down to the ring, but DDP and Karl Malone take them out. Scott, meanwhile, fights his opponent off and he hits Goldberg with a big clothesline. Scott says it's over, the streak ends now. He sets Goldberg up for the outsider's edge, but Goldberg counters with a back body drop. Goldberg spears Scott, he lifts Scott up and we see the jackhammer. Goldberg defeats Scott Hall on Monday Nitro, and that means Goldberg versus Hollywood Hogan for the heavyweight title happens tonight in the main event. The commentators say this is 107-0, and guess what? They're right this week. They've caught up. They added a phantom win because Goldberg did not compete since Nitro last week. So Goldberg is officially 107-0 by our count and by WCW's count. If he beats Hogan tonight, he'll be 108-0. Goldberg gets his first ever full security entrance. We see his full walk from the locker room to the ring, and while this would become more commonplace as time went on, it did make this match feel a bit more special. Bobby Heenan's putting Goldberg over like crazy, and that's something I haven't brought up before. It felt like Heenan was Goldberg's #1 supporter at times due to how excited Bobby would get during Goldberg's matches. Without a doubt, the brain helped the perception of Bill Goldberg, and it's something that he didn't get any credit for. Hogan gets in the ring, the two square up to each other, and credit to Hogan, he's not hamming it up half as much as usual. The crowd's fired up, the two circle the ring, they lock up, and Goldberg applies a headlock. Hollywood goes down after a shoulder block, and the Georgia Dome erupts. Hogan then applies a front face lock. He covered himself in deep heat before the match, and it gets in Goldberg's eyes. Goldberg would say that Hogan did this intentionally just to mess him about. Still, Goldberg continues on with a classic test of strength, and the crowd are into it. Hogan takes the easy way out by going to the ropes for a break. The Hulkster then gets in a few strikes and he brings Goldberg down to one knee. Hollywood takes off his weight belt, he begins whipping Goldberg, and things aren't looking too good for the challenger at the moment. But Goldberg gets up, he takes the weight belt away from Hulk, and instead of giving him a receipt, Goldberg throws the belt away. Bill Goldberg does not need weapons, brother. Hollywood gets put in a full Nelson and Hulk performs a low blow, a spot we just saw in the Anvil vs DDP match. Hogan clotheslines Goldberg, he chokes him on the mat. Goldberg then gets body slammed, but he dodges 2 elbow drops and Hollywood then gets clotheslined. Hulk stays on the outside and he takes this opportunity to get his belt back. The two lock up again in the ring. Hogan knees Goldberg in the corner before throwing him to the outside, and it's here where Hogan uses a steel chair. Goldberg takes a few shots, but referee Charles Robinson lets it slide. This match is gonna continue. The two get back in the ring and it looks like it's all over for Goldberg. Hogan hits him with 2 leg drops, and we see Curt Hennig coming down to the ring for a little NWO insurance. DDP and Karl Malone then appear, and Kurt gets taken out with a diamond cutter from Malone. And back in the ring, Goldberg's back on his feet. We see the spear. Bobby Heenan says the Georgia Dome's gonna erupt when Goldberg lifts Hogan up for a jackhammer. Goldberg performs his finisher, and we have a new WCW World Heavyweight Champion on Nitro. Look at this image, look at the hands in the air throughout the audience as far as the eye can see. Watching this back, I don't think many fans really believed that the title would change hands on this night, and maybe Goldberg would win via disqualification or something like that, but Bill wins the world title and the crowd reaction is undeniable. Goldberg celebrates and the production guys turn off his theme music so the Goldberg chants get amplified throughout the dome. It's a fantastic ending to WCW Nitro for sure. And yes, I know, booking themselves into a corner, others deserve the belt. It was hot-shotting to get a TV rating. Goldberg was unproven, I know. But if you stop looking into the future for just a few minutes, and if you take this all in for what it is, forget all the politics then and forget all the internet nonsense now, this is, without question, one of the most remarkable moments in the history of WCW Monday Nitro.